What's up guys, Simply Coco here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So as you can see today we are building in the world of Batuu. From the new Sims 4 game pack, Star Wars Journey to Batuu. This is on the Resistance Encampment lot, which actually isn't necessarily a lot, it's just a place your sim can visit. If you do want this build to go on this exact lot, you have to bring a sim here, and then put in the cheat bb.enable free build, and yeah, you'll enter into free build mode, and you can place it. It's on the gallery. It's just has the same name as what it already is, Resistance Encampment. But the screenshots on the gallery they're really bad just because there's a bunch of rocks in the way. I don't really know why. But yeah. So my gallery ID is simply Coco, or you can, yeah, I forgot to put the hashtag when I uploaded it. So yeah, you have to look up simply Coco 94, which is my gallery. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, which is my gallery ID. Um, but as you can see, the outside of the build has pretty much come together. The whole aesthetic of Batuu, there's a whole lot of round buildings and stuff like that, but we don't have circular walls in The Sims. So what I tried to do, I just tried to make the building look like it was made out of earth of some sort, or like out of some sort of stone, and then I put these round roof pieces on the top just to kind of make it look like something out of the Star Wars universe. I don't think I've said this yet, but I'm not really a big fan of Star Wars. I have seen the last three movies, like the newest part, like the newest trilogy. Um, no, I haven't seen all three of those. I've seen the first installment of the latest trilogy, where Rey and Finn and all those people were first introduced. And then before the pack came out, I started watching all of the original Star Wars movies, starting from episode one. But I didn't realize episodes one, two, and three were released after the first three movies, which is like episodes four, five, and six were released before one, two, and three. I don't understand why. I Googled it and I don't remember what the purpose was. Um, but once I figured that out, I kind of stopped watching them just because I don't like dated movies. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think it's just a personal preference. Like, I don't like I can watch modern day movies that are set in the 1920s or something like that, but movies that were made in the 1980s and stuff, I that's what I mean by dated movies. I don't really care for them. Um, but yeah. So this now I'm just adding a whole bunch of Journey to Batuu items on the outside. I love these kind of awnings that I have over the windows, which is actually a debug object. And I put like a parts clutter object over here, to the right. I mean, to the left, I'm putting these like storage boxes. To the right, I put that like storage looking seat right here by the door. Um, and on the roof, I put that satellite, and I put like something that's a water collector. Those orange things are power generators, so I put two to act as if it's giving the place power. That log is actually from the debug menu of Journey to Batuu, that kind of tree trunk log, whatever, that has the grass or moss growing on top of it. I really enjoy that object, and I'm going to use it um, somewhere else. I love that object. I'm gonna use it for like a creek or something. I want to do a meadow build, so it's just gonna be like a build in the middle of a meadow. So I'll definitely use that log next to a creek or something for that build. Um, but yeah, so I didn't say this in my build and buy overview of this pack, but most of the objects in this pack, I know I did say this. I did say this. Most of the objects in this pack are clutter. They're literally just clutter objects. And while I love clutter, it kind of doesn't make sense because, like, why have all this clutter if we can't use it? And then it's just it's just boxes. It's just like boxes and storage containers and stuff like that. And it's just, and there's like 4 or 5 different versions of it. And so it's kind of just like, what's the point? We do need more clutter in The Sims, but it needs to be clutter that we can actually use in real houses, and clutter that will actually snap to shelf points and shelves with actual and then we need shelves with actual snap points. But that's besides the point. So also on the roof, I put some satellites from Strangerville. This is the bigger one from Strangerville. I imagine this build just being kind of like the central hub for the Resistance. So there's going to be 2 bathrooms in here, a bedroom that has 3 beds in it. It's not necessarily, the beds don't necessarily belong to anyone. It's really just whoever's sleepy and needs to take a nap or needs to go to sleep. They can come in here and go to sleep. It's really first come, first serve. Everyone else, if they don't get to one of the beds, they have to sleep in one of the tents outside. But yeah, there's a bedroom with 3 beds in it and one of those storage couches. There's 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a dining space. They have a bar in the kitchen. They have a game table in the living area. And they also have a living area with the small TV that came with Eco Lifestyle, which is in the debug menu of Eco Lifestyle. That's the dining area, which is really just the big booth that came with this pack. And then these are the couches that came with this pack, the table. And then I really wanted to use one of the rugs that came with this pack, but I don't like the swatches on them. You see me trying to pick one now. The swatches are too bright for the rest of the aesthetic of the pack. I like the fact that we do have distressed and torn rugs now, but for this particular build, it was just too bright. I needed like a brown or a black or a gray or a tan or something like that. But all the distressed looking rugs were very bright. Like there's one that's blue, green, and yellow, and then there's this one that's this pinkish red and all of that. So over here, I'm just doing a small little computer space. That door goes into the bedroom. I assume I put the kind of slidey, like, I just put one of those kind of doors because I imagined going into a bedroom, that's something that you would need to, like if you're in there sleeping, you wouldn't want the bad guy to come in there. So you kind of need one of those more protective doors. So under the rug I ended up using is the distress rug that came with Get Famous. Just because those are the only other rugs that we have that look kind of distressed and worn out. And then here I am using the mini of clutter objects. Don't get me wrong, these clutter objects are great, but they're only going to look great in these more Star Wars type builds. But anyway, you did just see me place the gaming table. It's like some gambling game that is in that's in Star Wars. I'm not sure of all of the references. Like I said before, I've only seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then I've only seen episodes 1 and 2. Episode 3 I'm on right now, and then I've also seen episode 7. So I've only seen 3 of the movies all the way through. So I don't know everything. I liked the first 2 movies that I saw, but it was just very confusing. Like I didn't really know what was going on. I just liked the action, if that makes sense. Like my favorite part of all the movies was in episode 2 when Anakin had that little race. I forget what they called it, but he was racing his little the little storm chaser thing that he built. That was like my favorite part. But yeah. Anyway, so now this is the little bookshelf, or really just shelf that came with the pack. It doesn't really have books on it. Which now that I think about, I didn't put a bookshelf anywhere on this build. I should have put books on this shelf now that I think about it. If you do download this lot, just delete one of the objects and put one of the smaller bookcases. They're not bookcases, but the small book clusters that act as bookcases. You can put one of those there. And then I just put I put two lightsabers. Is it lightsaver or lightsaber? I think it's lightsaber, but I put two lightsabers, or just sitting around just to act like, there's people in here currently just hanging out and they just kind of set their lightsaber down for the moment. And now I am working on the kitchen. I feel like there was something else I was about to say. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to say this while I'm working on the kitchen. I plan on... This will be my only build in the actual world of Batuu, because if you have watched anybody else's reviews and stuff, the only other buildable lot... Well, there's two other buildable lots, but you have to enter the cheat for both of them. It's not like you can just go there and build on it. But one of them is the cantina, and the build itself is just like a octagon shaped room with debug objects around it, making it look like it's a curved building, which is fine, but there's really not much we can do with the build objects we have to make it look anything like the rest of the area. So I probably won't be building anything else using this pack, or, well, that's a lie. I probably won't be building anything else in this world unless I do a renovation. So that would be the only way I built something else in the world of Batuu itself, is if it was a renovation of something that's already pre-existing, but I'm not going to build anything else from scratch. What I am going to do, like I said in one of my last videos, I'm going to make a Star Wars inspired museum, and I'm going to put it probably in like Newcrest, or probably Newcrest, because the way I'm building my Newcrest for my save file, it's going to be very modern. So I'll probably put it in Newcrest. And then the only other build that I'm going to do using the items for these packs, from this pack, at least from now, I'm going to do a base game plus Journey to Batuu build. And it's basically going to be me just trying to see what items in the pack we can use as regular build items. So that's going to be coming out probably early next week, so keep a lookout for that. If you want to check out my build and buy overview, please do. I kind of point out in that video some of the objects that we could use as normal building objects for just a normal build. So it's going to have to be an industrial build. That's really the only way it's going to work. So whenever that build comes out, that's all I can tell you, is that it probably will be an industrial build. I don't know if it's going to be an actual house, or if I'm going to do an apartment, an industrial apartment, or like an industrial loft or something like that, but we will see. Yeah, I have finished the kitchen at this point. You did see me put a bar in there, like I said I'd put, mostly because I wanted to use the kind of bar objects that came with the new pack. When I say bar objects, I don't mean the bar itself. I mean the things like the little drink dispensers that would go behind a bar. I really liked that object, so I wanted to use that. I really wanted the curved bar in the kitchen area, but it just wasn't. The kitchen area was too small for that object. It's a pretty big kitchen, but it was just too small for that. But yeah, here's the bedroom. Again, I just put a whole bunch of these clutter boxes around. I did put side tables and just put some random objects on top of them, because again, I wouldn't imagine anybody, like, these beds don't belong to anyone specifically. They're just for whoever needs to take a nap, or first come, first serve as far as at nighttime. Who gets these beds at night. So yeah, and then I put one of the tarps on the ground to act as a rug, and then another one of those couch storage looking things. And then now I'm just finding some things to go on the wall. That object I just put up, it's called Prototype or something like that. I think it's a base game object. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a Get to Work or Strangerville object, but to me it kind of looks like a jetpack, like some sort of jetpack type thing. So I just put that up there to be something else futuristic looking or Star Wars looking. There's one of those like metal baskets that I'm going to put stuff in. I put that map up there. That map came with, I don't know why I want to say fitness stuff pack. I'm not sure where that picture, that framed map came from. But I imagine that's a map of the resistance, the whole resistance campsite. Maybe it's a map of Batuu. I don't know. Then I use that helmet that I put up here. I also put that one of those helmets on the coffee table in the living room. So I imagine like some of the people wear those helmets. Like if they fly one of those little cruisers or something like that, maybe that's the helmet they wear. There's a swatch on it, the orange and white swatch that looks like the exact helmet that the pilot from the new trilogy wears. The pilot that you meet in the very first movie. I forget his name, but he's the one that has the BB unit, the orange and white BB unit. Which I don't know if you've seen me do it, but I also put like an R2D2 looking droid in here and a BB unit. I put them by the next to the archway going into the kitchen just because I imagine they do have droids helping them around and helping them, helping them out in here. Now that I think about it, there's not like a what is it, CPO? C3PO or something? The unit that the units that are kind of like little butlers, they didn't put any of those in this pack, which is very shocking actually, because we have actual butlers that came with, I think, Vintage Glamour. We have actual butlers. We have the robots that came with University. So they could have just put those two things together, the robots from University and the butlers, and made the CP3 units. But just obviously made them look like the CP30 or whatever those units are actually called in the movie. I just know the main one in the movie is called CP30 or something like that. But there's none of those in the game, unless I'm wrong. But I went through the entire build and buy menu. I went through the entire debug menu for this pack. And, and I didn't see any of those. So, yeah, now that I think about it, that's kind of shocking. And I kind of wish there was some of those. But anyway, I am putting more of these kind of metal hanging things up here, and I'm just cluttering them up with different things. I do put a few lanterns around. Yeah, I'm just searching for more clutter right now. There's a lot of clutter in this pack, but not really. One of the best parts about this pack though is the lighting. The lighting things will probably be the most versatile things in this pack. Because you could almost make like a very luxury look, like a very high-end luxury looking build with some of those lights, because they don't look that bad. But anyway, now I'm just putting some terrain paint around, adding an extra tree over here just to fill up the lot, doing some other landscaping things just to finish off the build. And now I'm putting these like squid looking things in the kitchen as if they cook with these. And that's pretty much it for this build. The screenshots will be rolling here any second. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will always respond to your comments. And please hit that notification bell. That way you know exactly when I post my next video, exactly when I post it, and I will see you all then. Bye!